Building costs are not letting up, and how does that affect property prices in 2023? And how's the property market been the last week? Stay tuned.
Mr. Novak, it is episode 641, I believe. Good morning. It's 2022.
Good morning, James.
How are you?
Yeah, good. You?
Yeah, good. This has been an interesting one, talking about what's been, well, first of all, happy 2022 to everyone. What's going to happen in the property market 2022, what's happened this first week, and the talk of house and land packages of building homes at the moment, the construction boom that's going on, is something we'd like to delve into a little bit. So, Mark.
And my brother's birthday today.
And your brother's birthday. And you've had a name change to Hot Rod as well.
Yeah, well, I've always called my brother Hot Rod, and it's his birthday today. And happy birthday,
Hey.
Hot Rod. He's 10 years older, and he's my big bro, and he's a legend. And happy birthday again. Hottie.
Do you think he watches the show very much, Mark?
No. He only learned how to use a mobile phone in the last couple of weeks. Oh no, joking. Last couple of years, he's getting better and better at it. But no, he's Rod's a bit of a he likes dirt bikes, and he's not as techie as I am. That's for sure.
Yeah, fair. Well, it'd be impressive if there were two as teched up in your family. Good morning, Michelle. Mark, what do you reckon?
Morning, Michelle.
Morning, Michelle. First thing, first couple of open homes over the year. As of yesterday, we started off with some Saturday public holidays, so we've been pushed around a little bit at this Christmas, New Year's time. But some pretty good numbers at our open homes yesterday. I think we ran between 15 and 20 sales open homes, and we were getting a good variety of numbers. So first of all, indications are that people are starting to come back out of the woodworks again. They've got a bit of time, and I know that inquiry levels have been just off the charts over the last couple of weeks, or over the last week whilst people have been on holidays. So I think there's a lot
great to see.
I think there's a lot of sort of positive activity out there at the moment, if you like. And I think that'll translate into, quite a lot of deals being done in the next couple of weeks. So I think there's a lot of this energy still carrying through into 2022, Mark.
Absolutely. And you know, you just said before, don't people know this? But we really are in the coalface. We're seeing these numbers. The media doesn't get this data up until like a month later. So we just, we thought we'd report it anyway.
Well, that's right. And look, it's interesting because you don't see it anywhere. You're right. You hear a little bit in the media. You might have a friend who's in the industry that you have a chat with every so often, but it's unless you keep an avid eye on it, it's not something you necessarily stay too close to, or at least not with a factual perception anyway. So one of the things anyway, my topic was about building costs this morning, rising building costs. There's a construction boom. On the surface, that sounds fantastic, doesn't it? It sounds like stimulus for the economy. It sounds like there are jobs being made. It sounds like, people are able to buy into that denomination of property. But it's not an easy ride at the moment for A, the builders, and B, the owners building.
Yeah, and what a lot of people don't realise is there's a lot of development sites in New South Wales or in Sydney that aren't developable because they're not profitable. Now, as soon as the property prices go up, a lot of sites that are not developable, become developable just because the prices have gone up. And allow me to give you an example. So if you've got a 20 unit site and the unit's worth $1 million, and you basically it's already an office block, and the office block is worth $8 million. Then you go, okay, well, you know what? If we do an $8 million build and we buy the unit, the office block for $8 million, that's $16 million. We're going to make $4 million profit. That's not a lot of profit given the risk for a developer, believe it or not. They need more. Now, if the property market prices go up, 20 units worth $1 million is now worth 25 million or 30 million. Suddenly, the building costs have gone up a little bit, but it's suddenly worth a lot more. So it's like, hang on a sec, there's decent profit in this development now, which then kicks on to building, because suddenly all these sites that were not developable sites suddenly are developable because prices have gone up. So what you're starting to see now is there'll be a really good demand for DAs to come through, development applications for people to say, hey, I want to build. And then you're going to see a lack of builders even more, because people want to build shit and because they want to make some money. And that's the pressure on building again.
And something that the councils have been doing, they've been trying to speed up their reactivity to development applications as well. And I think that over the last, if that's the right way to, they're speeding up the process. So they're helping to push the things through a little bit faster. And I'm sure that's not the case with everything. But they're trying on their back end to help stimulate the builders and the growth and, the punters out there that are trying to do their bit. But as you say, this is largely based on the sort of the market around you at the moment. And when we're going through these high peaks of the cycle, it looks great for developers, but equally at the same time, there's not a lot of these sites left in a place like the Northern Beaches, Mark, sites for development.
Yeah, well, I think people will be surprised how many sites were locked up because they were undevelopable, and now they're developable. So you would be surprised that there'll be a whole bunch of new stuff coming to market. But believe it or not, it's a 3-year pipe. By the time they get, for significant for sites over 20, 30 properties, land subdivisions or whatever, by the time it actually goes through council, by the time it gets approved, by the time it goes out to a tender process, by the time it gets completed and delivered to the client, it can be a 36-month pipe. So if stuff has became developable because of the property prices, you're not going to see the result of that coming out the other end for about 3 years, which means back to building again.
Well, what about the general? This has been talking a little bit more focused on the development side of things. What about just general building? People that have bought a house and land package. What's your feedback that you're finding from people? Are they on time with their projects? Are they inflating the prices and they're getting burnt at the end as owners? I know that construction has seen materials prices soar because of everything that's happened. But where do the knock-on effects affect the consumer there?
Well, I think IRP data was saying that building materials just went up 4% in the last month. Over the year, building materials has gone up. Over the year, labour has gone up. And those two core things for a builder push the prices, and also scarcity of builders push the price up. And then the knock-on effect to property for people just buying anything. People think that if they're not building, they're not affected, but it does have an overall effect on demand. Hey, Luke, good morning, buddy. It does have an overall effect on demand. Do you know what I mean? So you can't think, well, I'm not building and it's not affecting me. It just does. And I know that property prices have gone up as a result of building, building costs. So the harder this is going to get for materials and labour and building costs, the more that's going to push property prices up. even to the fact, James, where you'll go, you know what, do I want to build a new house? Nah, I'll just buy something because it's just too expensive.
Yeah. Well, we met a builder who was coming down to do a quote at one of the properties we were selling, Mark, if you can recall. And he was telling us about his opinion on the construction boom and how he said that labor was the real shortage, and supplies, of course, and materials, but you couldn't find good laborers. Good normal laborers were charging an arm and a leg on their hourly rate because they were so highly in demand. So builders were getting let down with poor quality of labor, so it wasn't worth them taking on more work. So although artificially there was a boom, the builders weren't necessarily feeling it. They've got the work, but they can't service the work. So I found that was really interesting at the time as well, because it's not the perspective you would ever look in with. You look in and see what's happening, progress. Not
and you know what? It's interesting because it's foreign, James. It's not it's not an action or reaction that we're actually used to. Yeah. So I think for builders out there as well, like we've seen so much change in properties. Real estate agents, we're not used to it. But for these builders having scarcity of labour and material costs go up, they're not used to that either. They're used to quoting a job and then knowing that job's okay to sit there for 3 months. But now prices are escalating so much, they're putting escalation clauses in for their building costs because they've never had to do that before. So it's a bit of a moving target for builders, and some are getting burnt because they just can't find the labour, or they just can't secure the materials. Even just securing the materials, I hear stories of going all across Sydney and not being able to buy timber to build a house.
Yeah, like the different stores only able to give you a fourth or a tenth of what you would usually be able to take out from there on a daily basis. Who does that mean is that
adds to cost as well?
Yeah, but what I was going to say was, and I suppose this is probably to start to summarize, Mark, but who's the bad guy in that cycle? There's always someone to blame for everything, even if they're a different, where
absolutely, the real estate agent. Always blame the real estate agent, whatever it is. Even the stock market, just blame the real estate agent.
It's good advice, and I think it's probably what the realtors are used to. But
yes,
look, it's been really interesting, and you hear different people telling you different things about this, and when you do hear from people on the ground, so the real estate agents about the market, builders about building, it's easy to think what's happening, but really there's just layer after layer of how this COVID has impacted everyone's last couple of years in a big way, and whether it's their industry or not, it's been huge.
Good morning, Sasha, you legend.
Morning,
Sasha's a tree lopper. But it's a moving feast, guys. I guess in summary, out of today, what we've spoken about is, yes, building costs are still on the rise. Yes, it doesn't look like it's going to ease up. And yes, it does actually push property prices up. I'm not reveling in that. It's just a fact that it just does push property prices up. So if anyone is worried about saying, "Oh my God, is the property bubble going to burst?" Well, this is just another factor that keeps property prices, even if it's not pushing them up, but it's actually securing them in the position where they are because of the scarcity of materials and building and labour. That's good. Yeah,
well, that's it. So property is still in demand. The market's still strong. People are still trying to build, buy, sell. Everything's happening. We haven't yet seen the softening that maybe we expected. So I think it's going to be a strong year for property ahead.
And before we go, it is Serbian Christmas tomorrow.
It's
I think it's Christos Rodi, Christos Oskris, Vaisas Oskris.
So today must be the 6th. That's
what you say. That's what I think. It's Vaisas Rodi, Christos Rodi. Anyway, it's Christmas tomorrow for Serbs. Well, we go off the Old Testament, the original Testament, and that's why it's our Christmas. We do get to cheat and have 2 Christmases. And today is my brother's birthday. Hot Rod, happy birthday, Hottie!
Well, it's all happening at this time of year, so look, enjoy with the family, and hope you have a nice Christmas with friends and family close to you. And so Sasha is also in the Serbian community, Mark.
Crystal Serodi. There you go. I'm embarrassed that I forgot that.
Wow.
And then so he would say that, and then the person responding would just say Vaistina Serodi back. That's like Merry Christmas, and like it's like, yeah. I think it's God's born. Yes, is born. Yeah.
Yeah, well, happy Christmas. Someone's excited, and happy birthday, Hot Rod. We'll see you next time, guys.
Have a great day. See ya.